Let's talk about these slumlords in 2026. First of all, they want you to make $5,000 a month. Second of all, they don't want you to have no small children. You don't want nobody to live with you. No nothing. They don't want no dogs, no cat, no smoking, no nothing. No sit on your balcony, no chairs on your balcony. Like, what the hell?
Who wants some slumlord gossip? Because I got some slumlord gossip for you. Anyways, my building, they want to raise the rent. They want to raise the price of everything. They want to raise the cost of living so much for us to live like this. Yeah, there was no vent. I never had a vent.
If you think rent is expensive now, imagine what it'll look like 30 years from today.
The cost of living in Ohio is getting more and more expensive each day. There is no reason why I just had to spend $600 on my electricity bill for 1 month. And then our Senator John Husted says that we just need to make more money.
Why does your rent increase the longer you live in an apartment? Don't that seem backwards to y'all?
I don't know how these apartment complexes are justifying their rent prices. I have to renew my lease or move soon, and this apartment hunt is honestly extremely stressful. I'm even looking at apartments that I used to live at years ago, and the prices are even higher, and they're not even upgraded. They're the same kind of renter quality. Like, at least if you're going to increase the rent so dramatically, please make dramatic changes because it's not justified. This kind of ties into the economy right now and how prices are going up for literally everything, but income and salaries are not.
It seems like every time you turn around, the cost of living is going up, and rent is no exception at all. But what a lot of people are asking isn't just why rent keeps increasing. They are asking, what are they actually getting for that extra money? Some tenants say the apartments haven't actually really improved. Others talk about quick cosmetic upgrades, cheaper materials, maintenance issues, and higher utility bills on top of higher rent. Then you've got application fees, income requirements, pet fees, and pages of rules before you can even get approved. Let's hear what people are saying, because these conversations are becoming more common.
Why are application fees for apartment rentals so damn much? Let's get into it. That application fee is supposed to cover the cost of a background check. No, it feels like they're pocketing all that money and probably only checking the people they want to rent to. At best, they're requiring at least 40 to 50% above the actual cost of the background check. We are all tired of these insane freaking prices. Every apartment says luxury in the name somewhere, and nearly every single one has cheap, outdated appliances, not a single built-in ice maker on the fridge. Every stove has a coil top. Microwaves are cheap. Shallow kitchen double sink with no sprayer. The washer and dryer, if it even has one, is very loud. It's old. It's worn looking. Every bathroom looks to be painted over 10 times. The tubs have caulk all over them. Busted toilets that don't flush well, clog easily. Hallways smell. I could go on and on. Amenities you have to pay for. $500 pet deposit on average with monthly pet rent. Facility fees, street lights, sewer, water, which seems much higher than it should be, and there's no proof of what the property uses. It's just a shared expense. Mandatory internet through the property management. A 1-bedroom apartment that claims $1,250 when you're looking turns into $1,600 to $1,700 real quick when you pay all their mandatory non-negotiables. And we just got to live like this now. Landlords are saying that the property taxes are making the increases in the rent, so they have to force that increase on us. And they're not lying, but that $980 mortgage that they got at 2.3% APR in 2012 doesn't mean that the rent needs to be $2,000 to $2,500 to make up for it. And yes, I understand CapEx, vacancy costs, move outs, refurbishment are a thing. 150 to 200% of your mortgage for average rent. We will keep paying it, and y'all know we're gonna keep paying it because we don't have a choice in most cases. So
man, look at this shit. This is fucking paper. Look at this. This is goddamn paper. This ain't no goddamn building material. This is fucking arts and crafts. Whole fucking house. Goddamn origami house.
Buy a house built in 2024, and I'm gonna tell you why. Not only are you spending twice as much as you fucking should on a house, the shit that we're dealing with for materials is absolute junk. Yeah, sure, it looks great when you put siding on the outside and you can't see what the building materials are that you're dealing with. Of course it looks good. Called lipstick on a pig. Materials we get, if they ain't fucking warped, they're full of knots, they're full of wormholes. Wormholes! Can you imagine buying a new piece of lumber and having termites already in your house? I don't think so. Brand new sheet of plywood. Brand new. Pressure treated plywood. Supposed to be the best stuff around, right? No. Look, it's all splitting already. But you know what? I'm gonna nail that on your fucking house, cover it with siding, and you're gonna have to deal with it. Because that's what we got. We got no choice.
Look at how these new houses, those are floor joists. It's like 2 3/4-inch pieces of plywood sandwiched together, and that's the joist. Like, what? How much cheaper can it get? Like, damn.
Landlords, from the 1st of May 2026, you can no longer increase rent without using a formal process called Section 13. The Renters' Rights Act 2026 advises that before we landlord can increase rent, we'll have to issue a form called Form 4A, and we must give tenants 2 months notice, and that rent increase must not be more than once a year. I know that this might sound daunting for some landlords with all of this Renters' Rights Act, and some landlords may be panicking, and some tenants may be thinking, oh, with all of these laws, it might be difficult to rent. The truth is, the Renters' Rights Act 2025 is just making sure that we do things professionally.
So enough people don't say this to y'all. They can't. I went to an apartment and townhouse community yesterday in Henrico. The rent for a 3-bedroom townhouse, and it was only one available, mind you, was $3,500 a month. For the rent for a townhouse, like, the amenities was nice. Don't get me wrong, love the amenities. $3,500 a month, though. My mortgage before I refinanced was only $2,700 a month for a new construction home. Since I refinanced, it's only $2,400 right now, and y'all still renting. It's not making sense to me.
Atlanta is expensive, with the average rent being between $1,800 and $2,000 for just a basic apartment. Not in addition to the increase in gas, food, and utilities. Also, the ongoing conflict with Iran and the fact that the federal government has cut a lot of programs that usually help people to assist with rising rent costs. What is there left for us to do? Has Atlanta finally become too expensive for you?
America did some bullshit. I just got a letter, and in 45 days, my rent is going to increase $600. I have 7 days to let them know if I am going to stay after this increase. And if I am not, then I have 40 days to evacuate the premises? Question mark? Is this your king? What the fuck?
What keeps standing out to me is every situation is a little different, but the complaints sound almost the same. People feel like they're paying more while getting less. Higher rent, but the apartment isn't much better. Higher fees, but more restrictions. Higher utility bills, and maintenance still takes forever. And that's why this conversation seems to be growing.
Who wants some slumlord gossip? Because I got some slumlord gossip for you. Anyways, my building, they want to raise the rent. They want to raise the price of everything. They want to raise the cost of living so much for us to live like this. Yeah, there was no vent. I never had a vent. I moved here for $1,604 rent, and I don't have a vent. I just have a fucking gaping hole in my ceiling. You know what else this gaping hole is doing? It's leaking. My whole ceiling is leaking. In fact, the water behind this wall, I know it's upside down, but this fucking panel here, behind this panel, it is just pouring water behind the wall. And as you can see, water dripping on the toilet. So I'm getting Chinese water torture of the butthole every time I try to take a poop. It's a wonderful feeling. So yeah, just another day in Slumlordville.
So I just saw someone else talking about this. They were talking about the rent in Oklahoma raising in infested apartments. So I just wanted to talk about Fort Worth, Texas, and their rent prices are literally going up, and all those apartments are infested with roaches. They have rats, and then they want $1,200 a month plus. And I think it's absolutely crazy.
It should really be illegal to raise the rent the way they be doing here in the U.S. Like, I just got a renewal letter from my apartment. Got it late, first off, because we have to give 60-day notice. So I should have had this on the 1st of this month. They give it to me on the 16th, and they tell me that my rent is going up $119 a month. $119. No upgrades, no anything. It's going up $119. It's been up every year. It's went up every year since I've been here already. And then they give it to me late and then say if I don't notify them in time, it's going to go up $25, even more than that. And then they say if I decide to go month to month, it's going to be $300 more to go month to month. How is this even legal for you to raise the rent like this and not do anything? Since I've been living there, there has not been one single upgrade to anything. Not the complex, not my apartment or anything.
FYI, these next generation apartments aren't that cheap. Like, you doubled the rent. I remember back in the day, you can get a 1-bedroom apartment for $500, get a 2-bedroom for $700. You get a 1-bedroom now for $1,800. You get a 2-bedroom apartment that's roommate format, it's $2,500. What? How are you helping me? How are you helping me? There literally should be laws in place that the average medium income of that area, rent can only be but so much higher than that. It does not make sense if everybody in the neighborhood is making $30,000, but you have to make $80,000 to qualify. What are we doing here? The next gen apartments, they're not that helpful. They're really not. They're not.
Georgia needs to impose some sort of rent control legislation because the rent with these owners is getting out of hand. They're increasing the rent drastically, like $200 to $300 every year. One year it got so bad we had to negotiate so to the point where the owner had to come down. Now this last lease, he didn't even budge, so we're deciding to move because we already know he's going to go up another $200 or $300. And this place just isn't even worth that. And we know quite a few people who are going through this where the rent is just increasing drastically. That's why we are on the trajectory to, buy us a home, because thousands and thousands spent on someone else's mortgage is just, it's out of hand. It's convenient, for sure. But I'd rather own my own home at this point because it just makes no sense. Like, they really need to impose rent control here in Georgia. It's insane.
So this month my rent went up, and obviously every year the rent goes up. We all know about the annual rent increase. However, this time is a little different because the increase was way more than it was before. And it's just frustrating because, like, where do they expect us to just get this extra money from? And it's like every year my rent is going up, but I'm not seeing any improvements to my unit. I'm not getting new appliances. I'm not getting any sort of updates in my apartment. I mean, there's a laundry room in the basement of our apartment. I don't even see that being updated. None of the common areas are updated. And I think that's what frustrates me the most, is like not even reaping any sort of benefits from these increases. And because of the increase, I decided I wasn't signing another 12-month lease because the apartment is not worth the new price I'd be paying for it. Like, I know I could find another apartment that's way less money, but like, why? Why do these landlords feel the need to increase the rent and buy so much money? Like, the small increases are not that big of a deal, but when the increase is like hundreds of dollars more, it's insane. Like, how do they expect us to pay that? Where do they expect this extra money to come from? Like, are we just supposed to pull it out of thin air? Just make it magically appear, hundreds of extra dollars that we can put towards rent?
Why does your rent increase the longer you live in an apartment? Don't that seem backwards to y'all? I don't live in an apartment no more, but I don't know, I just be thinking about random stuff, bro. So I'm moving in this apartment, it's $1,200 a month. The longer I live in this apartment, my rent gonna keep going up. That don't seem backwards to y'all, bro? So I live in this apartment 3 years. Over these 3 years, you ain't made no improvements. You barely fix anything when I call maintenance. You ain't did nothing to increase the value of this apartment. But if I started off paying $1,200, by year 3 in this apartment, I'm gonna be paying $1,500. How does that make sense? But if I move out and somebody new move in my old apartment that I was about to pay $1,500 for, that new tenant gonna be paying $1,200 or even less because y'all might be throwing some kind of deal or something. Bro, how does that even work?
When you put all these stories together, maybe this isn't just about rent anymore. Maybe it's about affordability in general. People are asking whether housing is becoming something the average working person can realistically keep up with. And if prices keep climbing while quality stays the same or even gets worse, you can understand why some people are worried about what renting will look like 20 to 30 years from now. Tell me what you think. Are rent increases keeping up with better housing? Or do you feel like people are paying more and getting less? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Till next time, peace.